We are live. We probably should get like an intro or something for when we do it.
Sure, we just be like,
We just come right in and it's like, oh, okay, no prep time. No prep time to anything that's be happening.
just pop on. Hold on, wait, let me see.
Listen, I feel like now people should understand this is New York City. It's getting hot. People don't know how to
I
act.
don't know who is out there driving like that. Ah, I touched the wrong thing. Please, not even talk about it. I thought, what? Never mind, forget it. I was trying to find the. I think okay, whatever. You know what? We're here.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. We are back after a week little break. You know, things happen. But we are back with WWE Evil episode. Stephanie McMahon, get behind the boss's daughter. I don't know what her official title is. I know she has like a title. Guess we'll get back to that. But here I'm Katrina from In Cat We Trust, among many other things that I do. But I am also joined by the absolutely amazing and lovely uh, Captain Shakespeare. How are you? I think you muted.
I can't. Girl. I said I'm doing good, and just repping Finn Balor again. We're just talking. Okay, it's a good week for Balor Club, so
Just a quick little side note, but as if you saw, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but I feel like you should know by now. But on Monday, there was a bit of a swerve that happened. I did think he was going to join Judgment Day, and I did tell people that I felt like if you're going off what the vibe of Judgment Day is, then fix that.
right.
So,
It's getting
like,
dark.
no dark, yeah, like that emo. Like I'm kind of like the darkness. He fit it. And I did think at some point he would lead just because he's Finn. I don't really see Finn playing the background, like how you can see Rhea playing the back father. You can kind of see Damian Priest playing the back spot. Finn has always been when he's in a group, he is a leader, and so I expected it to happen, not as guess as soon as it did, but I did expect Finn to join on Monday, and I definitely thought at some point he would be leader, and so they sped that up really quick. So that is what she's talking about. Repping Finn. Finn kind of had some questionable things happen in the last few months with how they were doing him on WWE, and so he is now the leader of Judgment Day. I don't know if they're gonna stick with that because it's a really weird. I don't know. It's how you
Armageddon.
I just feel like it's a weird thing to have the name of the man you beat up. Like it's kind of weird. I don't know, but
They gotta change their entrance music. I'm assuming too. I mean, the whole beginning is Edge's voice. That's a little awkward, huh?
we're like you're being extra petty and be like, well, this is what brought us together. Let's use Edge's voice. I don't know. They can be petty and do that because I mean I would be petty. I'm a petty person sometimes.
I would
So
love that.
so it really well can happen in that way. But we are talking about we went a whole little ramble about Finn Balor, but it was good stuff this week from him. Um hey, what's up? We are talking about Stephanie McMahon's episode on Evil. Hey, what's up, Michael? And we all know how Stephanie McMahon.
Pretty good.
I mean, listen, they can. I mean, yeah, I feel like we definitely need the. Like, I get the whole club reference because of Bullet Club, but then it's also like, do we really want to go back to the past? We don't.
He's trying to make a new group that
Yeah, I mean, and then Judgment Day, like I said, because Edge had it, I don't know how I necessarily feel about it being, reference to Judgment Day. But everybody knows how annoying Stephanie McMahon could be. like she was definitely a person that irritated my soul as like a good chunk of my wrestling fandom with watching Stephanie McMahon. She has really irked my soul because she's like that person that kind of gets under your skin and just like want to beat her up. And so totally, totally got how she got an episode for this series. Because if she's not one of those evil characters who is always doing the whole shenanigans. So I guess to start off with, talking about again, she grew up in the business. When you have a dad like Vince McMahon, who kind of like he got the company where he got the company, but then he also was able to kind of turn it into what it is today.
Yeah, he
Love
did.
him or hate him, whatever you feel about Vince McMahon, you cannot ignore he's done a service to an extent with getting wrestling on like the mainstream kind of status. And so hate him or love him, you gotta respect that. And so she talks about her like going in to like looking at her father going to work and kind of just like being there backstage, meeting some wrestlers at a point, and then eventually kind of having more where she's doing a little bit here and there, starting in wrestling. So, what I guess was your thoughts about her very early humble beginnings per se?
I mean, I thought it was like a dream. Like, I wish that, like, imagine just growing up and being able to just be around all of these iconic wrestlers. And I also liked her story about, I think it was about George the Animal Steel. I think she said about how he scared her, and then Vince laughed at her for being scared, and then introduced her to him. I thought that was very cool, and it kind of, I feel like this entire episode, it was like a really, I feel like it was one of my favorites, if not my favorite in general, as of right now, just because it's like they kind of really talked about the growth and why she ended up to where she got, and how she was, a good addition to the Evil, show, because it was built up through her dad and through everything she had to overcome with, the Triple H stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, they talked. I guess the first where they decided to kind of the first. So she was in like background stuff. They definitely showed her um where she was kind of in the room, the writings room, and you kind of seen her kind of giving her a little input, kind of stepping foot into like doing a little more stuff. Hey Vic, what's up? Doing more stuff into wrestling, and then you kind of where we start kind of seeing her for the first time on screen. And so I know the story a little bit. I heard the story before, but I guess it was nice to hear it from her standpoint with her describing like they were going to put her in this story with Vince McMahon, who had the issue with Undertaker and his ministry, or darkness. And so that was the very first time we really got to see her on screen, kind of like an innocent bystander. Oh, the poor innocent daughter who doesn't know the crap her dad does at work, and she's kind of pulled into this story where you kind of see her having to come out on a cross, coming to the ring in a cross, and Stone Cold having to save her. So, what are your thoughts, I guess, as far as her describing that and like how this was the intro to us as fans, as far as her being an on-screen character?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was always an interesting storyline, just, and also him bringing her into the fold of like, being, in the wrestling stuff. I thought it was, I mean, keep it in the family. Why not? The whole storyline with her being added into the House of Black. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the Ministry. Okay, my bad. I thought that was a really cool storyline, and also the way she used it as a reasoning for her going down her evil path, as they say, evil. I just loved how they put this all together and like panned it out. It was so good.
Yeah, she's definitely somebody who like she had her little moments when she's really not in character, when she's like promoting WWE and she's doing her job stuff. But she's definitely, especially when like she first came out. Yeah, so in that scene when the Undertaker had her and she's just daddy's little girl and don't really know what's going on, she wasn't that bad. And then they made the whole weird thing with like Vince being like Stone Cold saved her, and then apparently the whole random person, the higher power was Vince McMahon. I thought back then it was a really dumb idea in regards to like how you like why would you go to this really convoluted plan to go against? Like, there are so many. If you want to go do something that's so cold, there are so many ways to do that without having to do this whole really weird higher power. Let's involve my daughter on a cross type. So that was a bit extreme. I don't know if that was one of those how WWE sometimes changed the story midway, if that's what that was. But I didn't like it then, and I hearing it again, I was just like, I forgot how irritated that little reveal made me, because I was like, are we really like? Is this what we do in Vincent? Like, is this where we're going with this? Um, Like, why are you the higher power? I think that was like the weird thing to me. And
Right.
so I did like when she started from there, and then she's again like really innocent, like gung ho about just trying to be, his daughter. And then you kind of see the whole thing with her and Tess. And so that's when stuff started getting a little bit, you know, before we get to the Stephanie we know Stephanie now is when like she's supposed to be in this nice happy relationship with Tess. Rest in peace, Tess. This nice happy relationship with Tess. She's supposed to get married and everything, and it's like yay, greatness, all these happy family things. And then all of a sudden we hear, oh no, she didn't marry Tess. It's some really weird. Oh, she was knocked out. She married Triple H. So legally, like when I watch again, watching this again, I was like, so am I the only person who is aware that that marriage shouldn't have been legal because she was passed out, which means there's no like there's that's what you called like signing a contract under duress. Like she wasn't aware of what she was doing. So like
Right.
how is she like really like how is this marriage legal? Did nobody question this? Like as a kid I wasn't really because I really didn't know yet, but like then I got older, so back to that storyline. It was like none of this should have even made sense to any adult that was watching this because legally that's not how marriage licenses work. Even if you go to Vegas and do that Elvis sham of a wedding or whatever, or if that's what you want to do with your wedding, uh, if she's drunk, she can't sign a license. So, yeah, and if you're doing it like the correct way, like again, I know it's wrestling weddings, and there's always a weird thing with wrestling weddings. But I'm just like in that regard because they had the person do the vows while she was in the car, like asleep or drunk or whatever. It's just like did nobody question how is this legal? Like where it had to be like, oh, if we do this, it'll be a divorce. And so we get to that where all of a sudden she's married to, and again she's still nice to me like, oh, I don't really like you, Triple H. I got to figure out how to kind of get out this marriage. And you have that weird matchup when they start talking about where if her dad won, she can get the divorce, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so when we get to that match, I remember this match very well because I don't really cheer for Vince McMahon because shenanigans, and he's always doing shenanigans. But this is like the one time I was kind of cheering, only because I never really liked Triple H. Like I respect what Triple H has done for business purposes, but he was always somebody that just it was an antagonist to me as a kid. When you had like he was always going after my favorite wrestlers, Brock, Stone Cold, The Heart. Like he was always messing with my faves, and so he really irked me as well. And so I really wanted Vince to win this match. So all of this, I was like, we're about to have a win, and then Swerve, she's working with Triple H, and so this is where we kind of first start to really see evil Stephanie, like Stephanie who clearly is a bit underhanded, kind of petty, kind of like shady, kind of do what needs to be done, just like good old Daddy Dearest. So what was your thought process? I guess kind of reliving those parts of like her story.
Well, first of all, oh my god, I always think about that whole drive-through marriage. Like at the time, I was like, oh my god, because I was young, so I was like, oh, I can't believe we did this. Arrest this man! Like I was so. I don't know. I was very like, it's still real to me. I was like, somebody get the police. This is against the law. What is this? And for a long time, I really believe that's how they got married. I used to be like, so y'all just think it's okay that how they got married? I used to just bring it up randomly. Do you just think this is okay? But her turn was actually one of the best heel turns ever. The facial expression, the just how it was set up. She really activated like her bad bitch mode in that moment. The switch up, like, she's like one of those people, and I think Edge is also one of those people that have really great facial expressions, and they make the scene 10 times more like you feel
Yeah.
because of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And the way she did that, I loved it. I loved it, and I thought it was cool. I think her and Triple H, that was a great, one of the best like in history. Personally, I would say.
Yeah. That's what I guess you start mentioning. Like Vince McMahon had that everybody knows the Vince walk. Vince has that really extra over the top walk for no reason. Like just like oh, you just kind of want to punch him. Like if you're gonna roll him down the wrestling ramp and just like oops, and he just takes a roll. Like mad extra for no reason. And so she's saying that she has to have like she had her own little annoying walk as well, like extra bratty kind of walk. And then her voice used to be extra grating. And they're just like, oh my god, Stephanie, like shut up. Why are we doing this? But I do think like putting her with Triple H, or Triple H was definitely well, yeah, clearly because she's mostly played that bad guy role ever since. So her being her being that clearly was like one of those situations. But yeah, we kind of see. I feel like the team up with Triple H, because again, Triple H was definitely antagonistic. Always, most of the time, he was definitely, for the most part, he played heel for a good chunk of his wrestling career, where he was the heel type of character, where he was always a bit egotistical, like I'm better than everybody, I'm the game, blah blah blah. And so I do think her being married to somebody who was like also kind of shady and like let's use the sledgehammers, let's kind of win by underhanded kind of means is I think one of the reasons why it worked so well because you have somebody who's already kind of spoiled. You got Stephanie Man who's the spoiled billionaire daughter or millionaire daughter. I'm not sure where he felt at that time. But then you have somebody who's like I kind of like I can kind of help propel you a bit. And so when they were talking about the scenes where he was kind of like she never really like she was just there to be annoying. And then she wasn't even there all the time, but she was there when she did show up and she did go out before the Raw SmackDown started and she just started, oh, she opened her mouth and you're just like, like shut up, Stephanie. Like you wanted to really beat her up for real. Like the Stephanie slaps that everybody got over the years, it could not have been me because we would have been scrapping for real.
Smacking the crap.
Because you know how she used to do extra with the slap to the point where that was like the Stephanie slap in the video game.
You guys like
Stephanie slap in the video game, so you wanted to, you know, me and her would have died. I would have to get a grip of her hair and be like, "Let's go, sis. We're gonna have to fight because you're not gonna be slapping me crazy. You're not gonna be slapping me all kind of crazy." And so, I think that even when she was talking about that part, as far as kind of putting herself into the princess of WWE role, but then she's also the wife of somebody who's like super badass, and you know he kind of does with like usually at the top of the wrestling food chain. You kind of see she gets more and more extra as time goes on with how she was with everybody else backstage, how she was with people when she had to talk, how she was when she kind of interjected herself with Triple H's affairs and everything like that. And so I did notice that they tend to do the nice way of the whole thing when they got married for real. And I'm like, so we're gonna ignore the whole China thing, I guess. I did keep that. It was a really nice way they told that part of the story. Like, yeah, we just like after much time has passed. I'm like, are we really gonna really like? We know what it is or what it was. Like the rumors before the whole thing came out, it was already there before, and so like the way they kind of try to clean it up really nicely, sped past that. Like, oh, after a long time working together, we got married, and I'm like we're gonna act like I was just like, oh yeah, we got married. Like it wasn't thing clearly happening. So they clearly did that the nice way. Because I definitely peeped the way they sped past that little part of the story. But then I guess they were talking about the situations like when she finally had to step into the ring, and so I thought that was cool because clearly she got better. Like her match she had with Ronda Rousey, her match she had with Brie Bella. I don't know. I don't remember if she actually fought Nikki Bella as well, but I remember the whole Brie thing because the Daniel Bryan storyline. That's why I remember that so well. And then the Ronda Rousey thing with The Rock. And so clearly she's trained and she got better because like in the beginning she could not like sis couldn't wrestle. It's very obvious she was just there to have, and so they had to have people step in for her. So having like Triple H help her, having DX help her, and even that storyline, which they didn't really say too much about it, but the whole thing with her, Triple H, and Kurt Angle was actually one of my favorite storylines because it was like so over the top, like ooh, love triangle because why she said there was nothing going, she never really put her foot down properly with that. She never put her foot down properly with Kurt Angle. Like, listen, bro, you're the homie. We're not. It's nothing like that. She never really. And so this is why it worked as far as this whole love triangle thing, because there was never no real like actual denial on her end. And so that was actually one of my favorite storylines from that time, just because it was nice to get all upset. And then Kurt Angle was like, "Oh, Stephanie, I'll do whatever. I need somebody to really take care of you and be that, top."
Listen,
keep you safe kind of thing. He's like, Triple H would keep you safe. We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. I did not agree on that one at all. I'm gonna let y'all have it though, because I'm not gonna debate. It's gonna be a whole rant for another day. But that whole I guess scenario of her even winning the women's title, and I like that they had Lita talking about it, and I really wanted them to show a clip of the match she had with Lita when Lita got the championship in the first. I was kind of annoyed that they glossed over that clip because I'm like, so we could have even showed greatness. That I was like screaming. I stood up to watch that match because I was hyped. You know, the Hardys kind of came out with her to like, you know, came out when she won, and that's kind of we saw the first relationship with her and Matt, blah blah blah. But I was hoping we
That's true.
Y'all are trying to get me started. Always trying to get me started on the Thursday, trying to get me ranted on Thursday. But I was kind of annoyed they kind of didn't show that clip of Lita win. I get it was about Stephanie, but I'm like, it would have been nice to show that the one time you probably needed Kurt Angle and like Triple H to help you, they couldn't help you that time. And so I wanted them to show it, but it was nice to see that Lita talked throughout most of it because again, that's kind of like her very big first feud. That wasn't like a Trish Stratus, but Trish Stratus got better. What Stephanie McMahon? And so I liked that aspect as well. So then they kind of introduced her, like the whole thing with the feud between her and Shane. And so even that was really funny because like you think about how Vince McMahon, even on Twitter, when the Vince McMahon tweets for like people's birthdays, and you get the Shane's tweets, and it's always like, well, what kind of tweet is this for your son? This is mad regular. Like, this is not even a good, like, is this you? Like, is this how you really feel about Shane? I don't know if they play off that fact because Shane did say you kind of never really know with us, but it's like, Vince McMahon's Shane tweets are always mad, like, dry, but then everybody else is like, you're a pillar of wrestling, you know, you're amazing, like, Johnson, you're amazing, Johnson, and then you get to Shane, and you're like, oh, happy birthday, Shane, and you're like, this all you get for your firstborn? Like, I'm confused, and so it was nice to kind of see that whole feud, even with that between Stephanie and Shane. Yeah, I'm shocked. It's like, come on, his tweets are so dry. Like, there's no type of emotion to Shane. It's like Shane. Oh yeah, Shane. Guess I could just send that tweet real quick, like that real boring tweet. Like he get like a happy birthday, and that's what you do to a person you don't really care about. They're like the acquaintance. Then you know, easy. Tell me happy birthday last year. I guess I can give him a happy birthday, but that's it. Those are those vibes that Vince do for Shane's tweets. So, that whole feud with them, like who's the better child to kind of run WWE, like I'm the next person in line. They get into that, and I really did like, because again, it works very well. The fact that even with Twitter, Shane just doesn't seem to get a lot of respect. So, what were your thoughts? I guess her being champion, losing championship, kind of stepping more into like a backstage kind of.
I mean, I feel like she could have done without winning that title. I felt like it was no reason for her to win it. But I mean, it already happened, is what it is, you know, and it led to, you know, Lita getting her big moment, which, you know, I was really happy about. In terms of her moving into like being more backstage, I mean, I think she's a great on-screen character. I really do. But I feel like she's done a lot backstage, and she's been very helpful, especially with the women. So, you know, I appreciate that. I loved her stint though. Before she went out, I'm glad she was able to get the stint of her being, you know, on SmackDown and being GM. I thought that was such a great like run for her, especially her stuff with Sable. That was one of my favorite feuds. I'm not gonna lie. It felt so like intense. Like I really felt like these women did not like each other. They both did a really good job. So I really like that. And I just think, you know, Stephanie just kind of excels. Well, not with wrestling. I wouldn't say that's her best thing, but she does what she can. As you said, she definitely has gotten better now. But on screen, she definitely top tier, 100%.
Yeah, she definitely, like, Stephanie is somebody you kind of love to hate because she's so agitating. She's like somebody who can again, she's like the woman version of the boss that's Vince McMahon. And so it's like everybody has that one boss that you like, I really don't like this boss. He's a bit of an asshole, and like I'm not gonna speak for Vince McMahon behind the stage because I do not know him. Like we're not best friends. We don't know what all his practices are. Again, we know he does questionable things. We know this. However, his on-screen character, you were like, yo. A lot of times you wanted Vince to like have an unfortunate accident. He was always doing shenanigans, and so like she was kind of very similar where she says she picked up a lot of her dad's habits, kind of just like you kind of love to hate her in that manner, like how she can get under your skin. I do agree, General Manager Stephanie on SmackDown was definitely one of my favorite versions of her. Because she was so annoying, but then she did need. Listen, SmackDown was my show. Like you had to go with, especially the brand split when like Raw had its moments, most definitely, but SmackDown, especially because SmackDown was on like the regular TV channel too, and so
Right.
more people got to catch SmackDown anyway than Monday Night Raw because of like one's the cable channel, one was like one is on UPN, I believe.
Yeah.
And so that's a regular TV channel, and so more people got, but they had like mad awesome people. Then you had like the whole John, like when John was on there, and like Eddie Guerrero, and they kind of made sure they made SmackDown really shine. And so definitely that time period, she definitely was doing her thing as far as general manager. But oh, she was so irritating. She was
Oh
so
my
irritating, and they showed the scenes of her talking to people backstage. And I'm like, so not one person didn't just slap her. Like this is why this is why I personally could not be a wrestler because I will totally forget that this is my job to be case like in the kayfabe. Like I gotta let you talk to me all types of crazy, and in real life I'm like, what did you say? Like, excuse me, let's try that again.
So
Like,
let's bring it back.
excuse me, what you said, Steph? Like, let's do that again. Like, I have to make sure you ain't talking me crazy, and so I can't be a wrestler because I know that about myself. Like, even when she said she took the first bump for the first time, and I was just like, where she said she felt like the wind was knocked out of her, and I was like, yes, that would be me so much. I know if I took one bump, I'll be like gone for the rest of the match, and so I'll be like how Jeff Hardy is when he does the swanton like off outside of the ring, and then he's gone for like most of the match after that. That would be me taking a bump. I'll be like, let me just lay here for a bit, just lay here like. I'm going to be like this, like it's alright, guys. I'm fine. You just wrestle around me. We're good. It's fine.
Little wrestler.
And definitely, the whole stable. So yeah, Vince is an asshole. I feel like I get like when there was I had a boss when I worked at Toys R Us, and people used to always make the joke that if the purge happened, they would come for him. Personally, I wouldn't do that kind of stuff because you don't even kill it. I feel like of all the crime you could do in the purge, why is it the murder that everybody wants to do the murder? Like, why not just steal something? It's legal. So if you're gonna like do the purge, like, why not like go like to the bank or something if you're gonna do all of that? Like, why would it have to be a murder crime? Like, that's the crime you want to commit is murder.
Literally, I'm getting money. Come on, I'm gonna be rich next
like, I don't know, maybe get my credit score. Let me go break it so I can change my credit score, or like
hey, after everyone's going to prison, I'm just over here with my money. It's like,
oh right, like maybe I'll let somebody out like that maybe deserve to be out of prison. Like, they didn't really do a bad crime. Like, let me just change some records. If it's legal, since everything is like legal, why does everybody go to the murder crime is beyond me. But this is what people said my old boss was, where it was like if there was a purge, he was getting got. This is that boss. Like it's like you kind of like if something evil can happen to him, you totally understand why because he's such an asshole. He is such an asshole, and so Stephanie is definitely like a little him. Like she's just so irritating, and like she definitely uses her power. And then even when we got the corporation, I mean, I feel like Vince could just get his money and just lock his house down like Ethan Hawke tried to do in the first Purge. Nothing that really worked for him because his dumbass kid opened the thing. That's like a whole other rant too. Like his dumb kid, Ethan Hawke's kid was so dumb. And while I understood the guy was an innocent guy, he shouldn't have died. And I totally get that. I do think the guy shouldn't have died either. But I was like, imagine me trying to keep my family safe and my kid go, oh, oops, mom, and open the gate. Like now we into shit because you didn't want to do one job was sit your ass down until the time's over. So I feel like Vince and the Purge would probably just be chilling in his mansion. Honestly, I don't see him really doing like going around on a murder spree. But I don't know why that's always the option. Like people always want to go to the murder. Like why is there so many crimes? Why is that the crime you want to use the murder crime? Like that could kill so easily. Like
not me. Right. Oh my god! Just like
that's the crime I want to do is the murder one. Like there's so much crime that can be done, but that's the crime you go right there. Like we don't need to steal nothing. Like maybe you can beat somebody up and there's no like assault charge, but no, let's murder somebody instead. Like, I don't understand that, but I don't see Vince. I feel like Vince would be chilling in his mansion. I don't see I don't see him running around. Shane, I don't know, because Shane is clearly the son that doesn't get according to storyline purposes, it seems like Shane doesn't get the amount of love he needs to get. I don't know, maybe Shane, but I feel like Vince would be chilling in his mansion. I don't see him running around like I don't see him doing that. I just really can't.
Yeah, no.
No, right? Like I can't even like younger Vince. I'm like he might have somebody do it for him, but him and like doing, I feel like he would.
He'll probably pay someone to kill someone.
That's what I get from it. I don't feel like he'll be the one to be like actually riding around doing it. I'm like that requires a lot of work and effort. I don't feel like he's gonna do all of that.
Oh no.
He did a really convoluted plan to get somebody else to do it for him. I feel like that's what he would do.
He's already did his dirty work. He's already did his rough stuff. Now he can just lay back with all his big bags of money.
But yeah, we get to I guess corporation when it's like now Triple H is in the suit, and we get corporation Triple H corporation Stephanie where they're like now they're really doing that extra like oh your boss is kind of annoying like the boss that you're like oh you get your Friday your week pass and you're like your boss and pissed you off and now you go to coworkers get a couple of drinks he's like yo this a-hole this week did all these shenanigans now you're ranting at the end at the bar with a bunch of drinks and a bunch of shots. That's the vibe Stephanie and Triple H was given by that point when there was like the corporation that they was like nobody can go against us. If you got any problems, we'll fire you. Like even when they were talking to the audience, it was that level of like they talk to you kind of condescendingly, and so you're like, see, with Stephanie always got on my nerves. So, so what was your thoughts? Because I went a whole rant about the purge. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I tell you, look at me ranting on a Thursday. What was your thought as far as like the whole corporation Stephanie, and as far as like her really being like the whole extra backstage?
I loved it. I thought that they did a good job, and it kind of goes back to what you said about how they just felt like a perfect fit. And even then, now, like from then and now, they still were like a perfect fit because their characters are on-screen characters, kind of like that was their role. It just felt like the right role for them, and they did such a good job. I mean, look, this whole thing that they did built one of the biggest stars in WWE at the time, which was Daniel Bryan. So when you can get a big megastar off of anything, you can help in that. You've succeeded. You've done what you went out to do. Isn't that what all these storylines, all these things, that everything we're doing is to build a new star, a new person to catapult from that? That's what everything's for, and they did that, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the whole yes Daniel Bryan era was a bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, I definitely didn't see it. Like, I think he's actually a really fantastic wrestler, and so it has nothing to do with his skill. I think Daniel Bryan is probably one of the better wrestlers we got in this era of wrestling. Like, he can actually wrestle. Yeah. My issue is I didn't particularly like the whole yes era because it got real annoying real quick. Mm-hmm. And so then, yes, every second I'm like probably about 2 weeks in, I was over it, and I'm like, all right, can we stop with the yes chant? Like, a chant is good if it's done, like, even, like, that's kind of my issue with, like, the whole baby chant, like, it was, like, the people kept saying it, and I'm like, can y'all stop? Can we not do it all the time? Like, I get it, like, I totally understand it, but, like, I'm kind of glad Jeff really didn't have, like Jeff Hardy, for instance, didn't really have, like, a chant.
No,
I think that would have changed my love for him if there was an annoying ass chant that was attached to him. I'm like, all right, can we not? And so that was the problem with the yes thing. I hated the yes movement, especially when they did the whole hell no thing, and then it was just like,
you know what it is? Do you know what it is about you know what it is about the chant that really pissed me off? It wasn't about. I swear to you, it was not about Daniel Bryan. I swear.
It wasn't. It was just that.
You know what? It started a movement, and the movement is still happening today. Of like whiny fans hijacking a show to get what they want. It's like, I get it if you're annoyed about something, but it's like, let's not hijack. When your movement, somewhere in your movement, you're booing Rey Mysterio, you've already gone down the wrong path. Because who boos Rey Mysterio? Literally, what in God's name?
That is true. Rey Mysterio really don't do that. I mean, I know people don't like him wrestling still because they think he should stop, but like this, he's been wrestling since what, like 15? I might be even off. He might be a little younger than that. He's been wrestling for a really long time.
Probably.
You gotta respect him, like for everything he's done in wrestling in general, from a young age, and what he's done for lucha style type wrestling,
Exactly.
kind of getting even that more mainstream was like, how can you be rude to Rey Mysterio? And people are, and so definitely gonna have to agree. It is the fans, because again, I think Daniel Bryan is a fantastic. Uh,
Yeah, I was so mad. I'm like, y'all boy Ray
so it
Mysterio.
is. It's definitely the fans. It's the fans that be doing the absolute most. And I'm like, I get that you love your, like. Listen, I will tell everybody any day. HBK, Jeff Hardy are my guys to the end. To the end. Unless this is like really, really, really bad, I'm like, I might have to change that. But those are my guys. They were the ones who got me into wrestling. And so to the end, I will argue. However, I'm not going to go to a show and be like, let me now be extra annoying about my love for Jeff Hardy or HBK. That's the issue. It is always the fans doing a little too much, and I'm like, you guys, can we like, no, I don't, I didn't pay to hear you with your little stupid yes chant. Like, yes, what? Yes, use some deodorant. That's what you yes to. Yes to
They're
the soap.
literally the
Yes to the
reason.
soap, the deodorant. Yes, that.
They're literally the reason that they banned volleyballs. Like what is it? What was it? Beach balls? They banned
Yes,
beach
and I
balls.
was there at that Raw, right? I think it was the SummerSlam. Oh my god! And then to the point where John Cena had to come, like, come on. I'm like, when John Cena gotta come out of character to tell you about yourself, Brooklyn, and I love my New York City because I'm a New York City girl. However, I was like, you guys, he had to go all out his back to tell you guys, can we not hijack the show? So yes, you
Yeah.
guys gotta always, and so that's my issue. I hated the, they don't be doing my guys right, but it is always the fans. The fans sometimes are doing too much. And so that was my issue with the yes movement. I was like, okay, we got it. But this is nothing on Daniel Bryan. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, like absolutely fantastic. And he does have, and I mean, except when he was like the really weird like Earth type champion when he was like about the Earth, and I'm like, oh, shut up. Nobody cares about. Like, not saying they care about the Earth, care about the Earth, but that he was being extra annoying, and I'm like, if I was supposed to want to recycle, no, I'm not. Now I'm not gonna because you do too much. So now I'm gonna put this can in the regular garbage because don't do that. Let's not do shenanigans. Okay, he was being that extra. he was being that extra annoying for no reason. Like so now I'm not this one can I was gonna recycle. Now I'm not recycling because don't be annoying about it. Okay. However, I like we went to a whole other tangent. We went to a whole other Daniel Bryan tangent. But yes, I feel like the whole thing was special. I think her Stephanie and Triple H being so extra over the top about it made Daniel Bryan easier to want to root for as an underdog because they were so annoying as the corporation. I feel like that was like the biggest like thing. Like you said, it kind of helped him kind of go over
Yeah.
because they're so like irritating. And then we see like her. I guess they bring it mostly to like I want to say that the Ronda Rousey, like I believe they brought that up too with
Yeah.
Ronda and The Rock and everything. And so again, I'm not gonna go on a rant about Ronda, but I liked her in UFC. I really did. I was a really big fan of her in UFC. I thought she was super badass. But then she took that L, and again, I'm not saying if you're at the top and you take a loss, that doesn't help mess with your like head a bit. I'm sure it does. You're like at the top of your game, and now one person kind of takes you off, and you're like, wait, how? I do believe a part of it was cockiness. I did say when she was like, "Oh, I don't really need to study tape," and I was like, "I don't know." I feel like no matter how good you are, you always know your opponent,
Yeah.
no matter how good you are. And I think that was a mistake on her part. So the whole crying thing and it coming of it be like she's old and everything. I kind of was like, I like The Rock. I really do. That's my guy. But I do not like Ronda. So this is the one time I was okay if Stephanie would have won the match. I would have been fine with it because it's like it's Ronda Rousey and she annoys me in WWE. It just she irritates my soul to no level. And so
Yes.
I mean I feel like a little bit like I felt like in the beginning, like the man Helmsley was more like they were married and you kind of knew they were a power couple.
Yeah.
And I feel like the authority, they were just mad because then they had other people also part of that doing their bidding a bit. And so I feel like it's similar, but it was more personal the first time. I felt like it was more of a personal thing that they were using Like
Yeah.
Triple H was like, you're the son-in-law to Vince McMahon, and she's the daughter of Vince McMahon. I feel like the authority was like, oh, you guys know y'all got better roles now. Like
Yeah.
they got a different job title, and we know they're getting more coins, and so now they being extra annoying. I felt like that was what the authority was. Like they had people to do their bidding because they also had like more power, even more power than they had before. Like they had different job titles. Like they were kind of had some real stake in the company, and I felt like you could tell that between the two eras again.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about those? Like even when she was doing the weird corporation, it's not have that corporate cane, right?
Because they had the. So what I would say about that question, also, I just want to touch on like, I feel like it was like more so they were just running rampant, being like assholes, McMahon Helmsley era, as opposed to the authority where they actually have authority. I feel like they got a little bit of a taste of it during the whole merge when it was kind of like the radicals and stuff like that. I feel like they kind of had a taste of power because I feel like they were mostly in control for the most part around that storyline or whatever was going on. But the corporation, yeah, I like that.
Isn't that where we got corporate cane from, right? The corporation era. We got. See, and now look at corporate cane now doing shenanigans on Twitter. Just you see what I mean about like they doing shenanigans. Like clearly, corporate cane took his
to read the room.
I feel like corporate cane took those shenanigans and brought it into him being the mayor because he's just getting on Twitter doing like I didn't think there would ever be a day I was agreeing with Lance Storm. How sitting here like, you know what, Lance, you right. Right, bro. I didn't think it would ever be me. Like, oh, Lance, you. Because sometimes he say some really questionable stuff too. But I was like, you're right, Lance. And so clearly, Corporate King he didn't learn from his shenanigans because here we are now just. But let's not rant. But he just said some nonsense earlier, and I was like, hey, listen here, Glenn. Okay, because I gotta always put the government out there. They do shenanigans. Why? Always the government when people do shenanigans. Why are we doing this, Glenn? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like now you need not to be married. You need to go back to being like we may see you once in a while in WWE. Like that's what I need to see you now. You don't need to be married anymore talking about shenanigans because it's shenanigans. Okay. I didn't think I would ever be agreeing with Lance Storm, but here I am agreeing. I was like, you're right, Lance, because he's what is this? I was like, yes, Pete, listen. Glenn had me upset. I was really like almost ready to quote tweet him and like go around like, what are you? Just like that meme of Kermit the Frog when he does the typewriter and he's just like,
oh yeah, I know what you mean.
That was about to be me earlier because I was like, what's going on, Glenn? What is this? What is this raggedy tweet? Just raggedy this all around. So yeah, clearly. I had to view it. I was like, I'm just gonna retweet and retweet Lance Storm instead of me really about to go. Because I was ready, like, what is this? I was
retweet Lance and just silent.
I just retweeted because I was like, I was about to like, I was about to write a whole.
I literally looked. I was like,
yes.
I just like closed the app. I'm like, I'm not even. Close the app.
You and your brother Mark there just doing shenanigans all around. Yes, he did. I retweeted his quote tweet because I'm like, thank you, bro. Because what is this? Yeah, it hurt. It hurt me here.
You know it's bad when Xbox calling you out. Damn it, get your shit together.
Right. I was like, I gotta sit here and retweet Xbox because he's right. I gotta retweet Lance Storm because they talking listen sense. Glenn with the shenanigans. Okay, so luckily they understood what I was going to say because I was ready. My hands was ready to type. I was ready. But when you want to tweet a response and you want to go to your laptop because your writing will be more extra on point because you got more space to. That was about to be me. I was like, Katrina, it's fine. We don't need to do it today.
Signs in the Twitter on laptop.
You're going to desktop Twitter. That could be like, what is this? What is this? But I did not do that, but I was going to. So that's how I knew it was about to get serious. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to retweet instead. I'm not going to do it to myself today. But I wanted to because he was talking that nonsense. So clearly he just brought those shenanigans to his real life job. With, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, my God.
So true. It's so true. Because shenanigans. Absolute nonsense. But okay, let's a tangent again. Let's reel it back into Stephanie. So I did like, I did enjoy this episode. Again, Stephanie was definitely evil in regards to if you're going off character gimmicks, being kind of annoying, that annoying on-screen presence. That was definitely Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. So she's gonna do the hyphen, extra hyphen in the name because she was like, all right, Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Like, all right, we got it. We got you, Mad Triple H. We get it.
The initials are SMH.
Shaking my see.
Okay, I guess that
And sometimes you gotta shake your head at what should we doing. See, you knew they were hip. They was hip. Like they knew. So it was that. They got you. Yes. It was a good episode though. Yeah, that's why I wear my green. You know, Stephanie did wear a lot of green in the Attitude Era. She was always with a green top. You know, with her green and trying to be annoying and everything else. I wonder if she wore green because of the whole money thing.
maybe.
Because you know they take green for money.
Maybe it's like a call out to Triple H because DX. I don't know, some green.
Yeah.
But it probably is the money thing, honestly.
I feel like when I say green's for money and it's like I'm wealthy and so you wear some green, and so I'm curious if that was why. Maybe it was. It could have either been or it really could have been. And
it was emerald too.
The transition from like where she was like really nice and then she started getting a little crinkly hair, like that ripple look from the '90s. That look, and then when she started doing like a little modeling things and getting her articles, I'm like, yeah, she's kind of coming out of her shell a bit. And so,
I love the curls. The curls on her were so pretty. Like I wish she would, girl, bring it back.
She's on a break now, so maybe she just needed to, the thing with Triple H seems like it was a serious thing, and so maybe that's what she's doing now. I know she took I don't know how long she's supposed to be gone for her duty, but it was a good episode. I did enjoy the episode because she's definitely somebody I would consider evil. Like she was definitely like,
yeah,
like you should have really been on that cross rail and been sacrificed to like that kind of level. She was a little annoying. So just saying. I mean, listen, Chris Jericho and The Rock and Chris Jericho with the Stephanie jokes.
That was one of my favorite segments.
They definitely did. Wasn't there one when they did it together, I believe, against her, and it was probably one of my favorite segments as well. I get people now say, oh, it's 2022, and some of the stuff might have been a bit, and I get it, but in regards to the time period, I understood the references, so it was funny. Again, you get older, you understand. I'm like, oh, maybe it could be a bit problematic. But what are your, I guess, final thoughts of the episode?
I really liked it. Actually, was one of my favorites. It's one of the best. Sorry, I had to make the Chris Jericho joke because I couldn't help myself. It was definitely one of the best. I'd say for me, I think that's my favorite episode so far. Honestly, they've been good. Like I have other ones that I really enjoyed. Not the Brothers of Destruction, no, but that one was like the most. I really, really liked that one.
Yeah, I feel like Randy's okay. No, I'm lying because we will get to that person last. Roman is my top because he's Roman and like hello, hello. Roman Reigns is definitely top because he's Roman and like look at him.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna hate me for real on that episode. I'm gonna be so extra annoying about Roman. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I'm gonna be really extra. When we get to Roman, I'm gonna be so annoying. But it's fine. I'm just gonna tell you now. I'm gonna be really annoying about it.
We're gonna love him.
So, but I did like Randy's episode as well because again, he was also somebody who was always a heel and kind of irritated me. But I did enjoy this episode, and it was kind of also nice. It's nice that it had not a lot of women on here clearly because there's only Hall and Sasha Banks. But it was nice to see, like again, somebody who's a different dynamic of evil, which is like behind the scenes kind of evil, and so that's cool. But yeah, that was pretty much the episode. It was kind of went straight forward to like her backstage kind of, and then kind of what she does behind the scenes, like be annoying and do the most and stuff. So yeah, it was a good episode. So you go tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going on.
Well, I have a Twitch that I do stream on very frequently. It's Shay Sawyers. That's it. Just Shay Sawyers. And then if you want to do any of my socials, it's all the same. Shay Sawyers. You can find me anywhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on everything. Twitch, TikTok, all that stuff. In Pat We Trust, I believe the E is a 3 on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram because apparently somebody had it first. So can get the E for there. And then I'm on a bunch of sites I do articles for, so check those out. And if you're in Brooklyn, I believe in a few weeks I will be in Brooklyn doing some women's wrestling talk for Black Wrestling Fest if you are in the New York City area. So I will be representing for women's wrestling talk there in person. So, stop by, say hi. And I believe there'll be a contest happening for women's wrestling talk. I don't know the exact details yet, but I did hear today that there will be a contest for that. So
Oh,
you guys can find me there. Next week's episode, I believe, is Ric Flair. And so y'all already know I'm gonna be a bunch of ranting next week. Because y'all know how I feel about Ric Flair. And so I just know now y'all probably need a couple of rants out of me next week. Because but yes, he is definitely the next episode, and so I guess we're gonna do it, right? But and so I'm gonna be ranting. I'm sure it's gonna be some nonsense, definitely, because I didn't watch the episode yet. He was the one episode I did watch. So I will watch it by the time we come back on next week. But I already know I'm gonna be ranting because he just irritates me. Another person who just over that. Just I think he's like so over that, like overhyped for no reason. I'm just like, he's gimmick. Like, is his wrestling even that great? Nah, he's gimmick. He's gimmick.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I feel like he's a gimmick. He's a gimmick. I feel like that was overshadows his wrestling personally. I know I'm gonna probably get some hate for that, but just know this will probably be some rants next week. But we will be back to talk the next episode, which is WWE Evil, Ric Flair. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Thursday. We love you guys. Until next time, bye.
I'm gonna do this until it goes away.